Talk away.
So here we are today. We're going to make a batch of cream ale, pre-prohibition style ale, and I wanted to show you all how easy it is to make this beer here at Mount Baldy Brewing Supply. We have our system here. It's a 15-gallon brewmation system. It's made by Brewmation in New York State. It has a three vessel system. You have your hot liquor tank in the center, you have your mash tun on the left, and you have your boil kettle on the right. So basically, if you were to come in to make this beer with us like we are today, you'd come in and I have the water all ready to go like I do right now. Everything's preheated. Basically, I would then put in the parameters in the system what it is exactly you need for this brew. Today's brew, we're doughing in at 176 degrees, and we're mashing at 151 degrees, and we have 5.78 gallons of water. So I'm going to quickly go ahead and put that into the system. Here we are transferring the water out of the hot liquor tank to the mash tun. Mind you, it's all automatic. At this point, you would grab your mash paddle from the wall and be ready to stir in the grain. This is the part that you would actually do. In this demonstration, I'm actually going to do this so that I can show you how easy it is. Basically, right now we're at almost 3 gallons. We need to get to 5 gallons, and then as soon as we get to 5 gallons, I'll dump in our grain bag, all of which would have been pre-measured and ground by myself. Just to give you an idea, this is what we're using. This is what it looks like. It's just crushed barley, and I've got another bag of flake maize that we'll dump in last. Like we've got 5.8 gallons. Now it's time to dough in. This is when we dump the grain into the water, in the mash tun. I'm going to grab the flake maize, add that in here. Looking like making a good corn beer. And then we stir. An appropriate motion for this is to use the mash paddle as a blade to break up any of the clumps in the grain bed. And basically, we just stir this in until we get it completely, all the clumps completely gone. And you'll start to smell the wonderful aroma of mashing grains. And at this point, you would then go back to work, or you'd go hang out at the bar across the street, go down to the lake, or do whatever you do for a couple hours, and then come back after after everything's completely transferred into the boil kettle. That's the beauty of this system. It takes very little time, and it does a wonderful job. Okay, so this is what happens during the process when you're gone. The mash recirc pump kicks in, and what that does is it keeps it ensures the temperatures constant throughout the whole grain bed. In the bottom of the mash tun, there's actually a heating unit that will actually heat intermittently whenever the mash gets below the temperature that we set on the computer on the system. This thing will basically take over from here and kick in the heat when it needs it. Usually I just try and make sure that all my temps are right, make sure I don't have any spikes or have any problems with the temperatures, and then you're free to go. And either that, like I said, either that or you could stay here and visit, and we can discuss beer or beer making, but generally people will go about their business and come back later. Excuse me, where it's sparged, I'm collecting a little bit of what comes out at first, just to get any of the leftover sanitizer out of the pumps. Instead of being in our beer, it's gonna be in here, which is what I've done. Now we'll sparge for 45 minutes, and we'll be back when it's boiling. What I'm doing now too is spraying water on the boil to help cut down the foam some. Usually the firm cap does a really good job at that. This particular mash has a lot of 6-row in it, which produces a lot of protein and foam. So that's why there's such a problem with foam this go around. Once things come to a boil, the foam will disappear, and we'll go about our business. We're at about 195 degrees right now, slowly increasing here. Once we reach boiling temp, the timer will start counting down here too, directly on the screen. There we have it. We're at 196 degrees. I'm going to press enter here on the screen. And it should beep at us one more time here. And that's just an indication that we will start counting down. Actually, you can see the bubbles coming up here in the wort. Okay, now we're set to go for the boil. So as you can see, we're now approaching the 60-minute mark for the hop edition, and we are at high boil at 207 degrees now. When we hit 60 minutes, you got to kind of pay attention to the timer. It doesn't bing at you or anything when you hit 60 minutes. So when you hit 60 minutes, as we are now, we'll add our hop addition, which is something that you would do if you were here brewing with us. And that's it. We've added our hop addition, and now we'll wait until we hit 5 minutes left in the boil and add another hop addition. But until then, we'll also add the chiller and some Irish moss before that. So we're about 20 minutes out from cooling, so I'm going to put the wort chiller in to sanitize the chiller. And you just put this into the hot wort very carefully. And when you're brewing here with us, this is something I do just because. You get this ready. Plug everything in here. And after everything's plugged in, then I'll drain this hot water that's in here now in the hot liquor tank and fill it up with 15 gallons of fresh cold water that we'll then add ice to it that you'll see when we cool. Alright, so I'm back here. I'm adding some Irish moss here at 15 minutes out, a teaspoon. And that's just a clarifying agent, and this is something that, if you were here, I'd ask you to kindly do. That's basically it. You see we've got the chiller in place like we saw before. We got about 15 minutes left, and I'll catch you when we cool. So we're back here again. We have an aroma addition here. This is one of the things you do if you were making this batch here with us. And at 5 minutes out, we'll put this in. We're about 6 minutes right now. And just so you know, every recipe is different, so you might not have as many hop additions as we're doing today here. You might have more. So here at 5 minutes, I'll add the hops. Alright. We added our aroma addition. Now we're going to wait till the end of the boil and proceed to cooling. Alright, so we're back here. The boil is done. And we are now cooling. So we've got our chiller in place. We've got our hose in a bucket to catch the first bit of water to run off. It's very hot, and we're now cooling. All right, so we're back here. We've boiled and cooled our wort down to 74 degrees. Now I'm gonna put the wort into a sanitized fermenting bucket. The first little bit you get out of here is hops, which will settle out in the fermenting process. Now I just kind of want to make a circle in the bottom of the bucket to put as much oxygen in there as possible. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is slow the flow down here a little bit and actually pull off a sample so we can take our specific gravity reading to determine what our final, what our alcohol content could be. Alright, here we are. We're going to actually take a gravity reading of this here beer. Or wort, and currently we are at 10:45, which, if I check my handy dandy printout, was our anticipated original gravity for this beer. So what we have here is today we're using 1056 ale yeast. As you can see, this is the proofed yeast container. Usually these things aren't blown out like this. What I'm going to do is carefully cut the corner of this off, the other corner, and then we're going to dump the yeast slurry in. And this, my friend, is how you make beer. Now we're going to pour in the batch into our sanitized V vessel.